person unless they have a disability and or an extraordinary circumstance. Excused members and members of the public will still be able to participate virtually. Members who are joining via Zoom must leave their cameras on, and this meeting is being streamed live on our YouTube channel and a transcript is being recorded. I'm Wendy Gonzalez. I'm a co-chair of the LP committee.
Frank Hall-Zubiak, the other co-chair.
Inga Ivchenko, member.
Brendan McGrath, member.
Tina Nelson, member.
Alan Oster, member.
Christine Berthe, member.
Thomas Garza, member.
And online, Kevin.
Carrie Keenan, member.
Mike Noble, member.
Fantastic.
Okay, welcome everybody. As I think most people know, this committee considers applications for liquor licenses and outdoor dining. We will hear the agenda, which is 7 items tonight in the order as published. We will call each applicant in turn, ask them to briefly tell us about their application. We will then discuss it among the committee. If you are observing the meeting and want to be heard on a particular application, please raise your hand when that agenda item is called. We will then take a vote, which is a recommendation to the full board of Community Board 4, which will take its own vote on these items at its April meeting. And again, I stress anything we do or the full community board does is only a recommendation. We have no power to grant or deny any kind of licenses. That's ultimately up to the state liquor authority or the Department of Transportation.
Great. So with that, we will start with our first section tonight, which is alteration and class change applications. So we will hear from number 1, 310 West 38th Street, KHP Midtown LLC. If you are the applicant, if you could please come off mute or raise your hand.
Yes, we're here. We're present.
Oh, fantastic. Great. You can feel free to dive right in and just tell us a little bit about your application.
Yes, we currently have a light liquor license, beer and wine. We've been in business for a year and a half. And right now we're requesting a class change to a full liquor license. The current issue we have is, number one, we're losing a lot of customers due to the lack of options. That's number one. And we'd like to offer the customers or the guests that come into our establishment more choices. Number two, we realize that a lot of our customers are new guests. We often do not have many repeat customers, and they opt for places in like K-Town where they have liquor licenses and Korean barbecue, and we like to kind of provide products that people would like and that will make them repeat customers. And number three, there are certain sojus that are distilled, and they're very popular. And right now we can only offer fermented ones, and not everyone likes sake, and not everyone likes the fermented sojus. And we like to have more options in terms of soju, and hence that's the reason for applying for this class change.
Okay, thanks. I just had one question, the technical one about your stipulation form thing you submitted. Do you have it there with you?
No, I do not. That was handled by our lawyer, so I do know.
Okay, well, let me tell you, I think this is just a technical thing.
Okay.
We asked you about the number of tables and seats and bars you have.
Yes.
And on the form, you wrote down number of seats at the service bar is 27. I mean, sorry, number of service bars is 27. I assume you mean there are 27 seats at the bar. I think
yes, that's correct.
You have one service bar with 27 seats.
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to correct that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, that's all I have.
Any questions from the committee?
I have a question. So I live on the same block and I see your operation all the time. And there are a lot of people which are waiting in line on the sidewalk. And I'm wondering, since you have such a space inside, why don't you take those people and get them inside?
We, as the customers come in, we do offer them space, but sometimes they like to smoke or they like to talk outside. When the days were colder, like 3 weeks ago, a lot of them did come inside, and there was no one really on the sidewalk. And then so, but we can encourage guests to come in more than we're doing, if that's an issue.
Yeah, I think because the sidewalk is very narrow there. So
Yes.
and so it's, you have to navigate through the people and they are well behaved, that's not the problem. But I think it would be helpful if you could put a staff, encouraging them to come in.
Yeah, Madam, I'll take care of that. As I get off today, I'll have a meeting with them and
Because
change the operation.
especially if you have now the liquor license, you're going to be even more popular.
Yes,
So-
yeah, I agree with you completely. So, I will take care of that immediately.
All right, thank you.
Thank
And we
you.
put that as a still person.
Any other questions from the committee? Nellie, do you have any hands raised online?
No, there's no one.
Christine, if you want to step or,
Yeah, just that there is a staff will.
the applicant will take steps to minimize, stuff,
Try to avoid,
to minimize patrons waiting on the side.
right.
Yes,
Right.
will do.
Okay, you're okay with, I'm gonna add that as a stipulation to the form, okay? Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
no other questions. I will entertain a motion. Is there a second? Second. Okay, all those in favor?
Yeah,
Aye.
Aye.
Fantastic. That passes. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Board members, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, next up, we have number 2, which is 30 Hudson Yards, floors 567 and 68. Also known as 500.
Everyone.
Okay. Hey, Bill, go ahead.
Before I get started, I just want to make sure. All right, I see Joe Whitman is here. He is with us, and it says Dean Shapiro on the Zoom name, but it's not Dean. Although Dean is one of the licensees. That is Sam Prieto, who is with us as well, also a licensee. All right, everyone. Nice to see you all. Phil Dorn, attorney for the applicant with Pazetsky and Bookman. As I just mentioned, Sam and Joe are with me from the ownership group. This is a very simple alteration application for Peak inside Hudson Yards. The only changes have to do with the shape and location of the bars that are on the 68th floor. If you've ever been up there, there's a main bar that's on kind of the right side when you walk in. That main bar is moving just a few feet over and is changing from kind of a semicircle shape to a rectangle. The other two bars, which are typically just used for overflow or for private events, those are getting slightly bigger. There are no other changes, no changes to the method of operation, no changes to the, we're not expanding the footprint. The whole restaurant's remaining the same. It's wild that I even have to waste your time here tonight, but if you do have any questions, we are, of course, happy to answer them.
Boy, we're gonna have a lot of discussion on this one. No, I don't have anything, although I do remind Christine when we rode up the freight elevator to look at this place, when it was under construction. That was a lot of fun. All right.
You got the VIP treatment.
yeah.
Any questions from the committee? Nellie, do you have any hands raised online?
No, there's no one.
All right, I will entertain a motion.
Yes.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that passes.
Thank you all very much.
Okay, on
You
to
doing the next one?
number 3. A new liquor, wine, beer, and cider license application for 204 7th Avenue, The Winter's Coming LLC.
Hello, good evening.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you? Thank you.
Feel free to tell us a little bit about your application. You go ahead.
Oh, thank you very much. So, my name is Masahiro Urishida. This is my new exciting personal project. So trying to do this neighborhood bar in Chelsea location. It's going to be a very cozy cocktails, seasonal cocktails with the Japanese home cooking inspired bar food. So I have opened and operated Katana Kitten in the West Village for past 8 years. And this one is just a little bit more personal connection between my hometown in Nagano in Japan to New York weather and locality. So what I'm asking is for legal license. So operating hours like noon to 2 a.m. Across the board every day. And with 6-seating sidewalk cafe, which I'm going to apply for the permits as well. And since this space is a white box, so I'm working with the engineers and everyone that everything is up to code, ADA bathroom and sidewalk cafe, as well that we have plenty of ample space. If you see on my north side is Coppersdale and the south side, those are cute little cafes as well. They're doing nice outdoor seating by securing enough 9 to 10 feet of sidewalk there for the pedestrians as well.
Okay. I just have a couple of questions about the form you submitted. Okay. So we're in agreement that this tonight does not cover the sidewalk cafe, right? When you apply for a sidewalk cafe, you're going to have to apply to the Department of Transportation. They then send us your application, and you'll come back to another meeting to talk about that and to get an alteration to your liquor license. So that's just the procedure for that. So I'm going to cross out the seats and things on page 4 where you wrote in about sidewalk cafe and say this particular application does not apply to a sidewalk cafe. Is that okay?
So that means that okay, that's a little liquor attorney question I would like to reach out because I see. So like the today is just for the indoor liquor?
Yes, because the position the State Liquor Authority has taken is that they will not give a license for sidewalk cafe until the Department of Transportation has approved it. And you haven't even applied to the Department of Transportation yet, right?
No, we were applying after once we get the liquor license and so on. We were kind of making the step and then
Sorry about all the bureaucracy. But yeah, the way it has to work is you apply to the Department of Transportation, they look at your application, they then send it to us, and we invite you back in to talk just about that piece of it.
I see. Understood.
That's what we do for everybody. That's just the way the rules were set up. It's not our procedure.
Okay.
Okay.
Understood. Thank you very much.
All right. Great. And then the other thing was on page 5 of the form, we have a question that says will you close all your doors and windows when there's amplified music inside, and you answered that no. Is there a reason for that? I mean, we try to avoid having sound spill out onto the sidewalk.
Right. So first of all, this is just like a very neighborhood place, a cozy place I'm trying to create. And then right now they have a French door in the front next to the entrance door. And what I'm doing is like planning to change that to solid glass, so which is extra soundproofing. And then on the top right now, I see a little 2 windows that kind of like opens a little slant for the kind of like a ventilation use in case, I guess like a summertime and, nice weather time. So that's the reason I just want to make sure that those kind of window, but I also said like I'm gonna shut I said yes to the 11 p.m. weekend and then 10 p.m. Weekday. So just
10 and 11, yes.
Yeah, so 10 and 11, and then I'll make sure that no loud music like spinning out or like not intended to play loud music, but yeah. So that's the reason I left it yes to the.
So if it can be heard on the sidewalk, that's a problem. That's sort of the standard. So if your music is low enough that you can't hear it on the sidewalk in their little windows, I hope it won't be a problem, but you gotta make sure you can't hear anything on the sidewalk.
Thank you.
That's what I have.
Any other questions from the committee? Nellie, do we have anybody with their hand raised online?
No, there's no one.
Okay, I should say we got an email from Dan Nichols on West 20th. Says she'd like to provide support for the venture. She and her neighbors fondly remember the prior operator. We have missed a friendly place to go for good food and a selection of drinks. We'd certainly appreciate sake and Japanese home cooking inspired bar food. Good luck, and we look forward to it.
Thank you very much.
Would you see, Nellie, can you bring Pamela over?
Bringing her over now.
Thank you.
Seeing that now, many others believe that what they're really trying to do is to make this.
Hi. So I hadn't intended to speak up on this, but I do want to say that I agree with representing the Chelsea West 200 Block Association. This would be a welcome. We are very comfortable with this application, including the sidewalk seating, although that's not on the books right now. But we hope he's able to get it pulled together in time to be able to utilize that for this summer's season. And we welcome you. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
No, this isn't the,
I know. Oh, this is a different one.
this is Maya, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
Right.
Now we are, if you could, because we're about to vote, so if you could.
Right here.
I just wanted to say that Maya has been more than communicative, and I know that, working with Pam's VA and Robert's VA, 200 West, Chelsea West 200, and Susan Marshall, we've been communicating, Susan Palmer Marshall. I just want to welcome, I mean, I think it'll be a great asset to the neighborhood as well. Thank you.
Right,
All
a
right.
surprising burst of positivity.
It's our delay. Warm weather's got everything.
Yeah.
Great. All right, so with that, I will entertain a motion. All right, do you have a second? Great, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Fantastic, that approves.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, good luck.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're on to item number 4. 375 9th Avenue, Aramark Services.
Perfect.
Hey, Maston.
Okay, good evening. Good evening, members. Good evening, co-chairs. Very nice to see you again. My name is Maston Sansom. I'm the attorney for the applicant. I believe Jonathan Orozco is on here, and Delilah Mercado maybe as well from the applicant.
Ellie, can you move them over if they're not in the main meeting? But you can get started. Are you gonna speak first?
Yeah, if
Okay,
I
you
may.
can get started. Nelly will move them over in case.
Okay, great. Yeah, so this is a catering license for an office building, essentially to provide food and beverage services for those in the building. It begins on floor 13 and goes to floor 24. There would be 4 bars, but each bar is on a different floor, and that's obviously intended more from a convenience standpoint. The hours of operation, well, first they're just only be recorded background music, of course. The hours of operation right now have a closing time of, I believe it's 5 o'clock. I'm sorry, lost the page.
Yeah, no, I actually had a question about that, because what you have is 5 p.m. and then extensions up to 8 p.m. on reception event days.
Yeah, so
I was curious why you broke it up that way rather than just going to 8 p.m. regularly.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that, and yeah, you're absolutely right, and this packet had been submitted already And we were doing our prep call, and we discussed. I said, the board, actually, I've seen you guys say before, why don't you just make it 8 whatever, in case you need to be open, you can. So the question is, would the board be amenable to making it 9 p.m.? And the purpose of that is, and I'll let the applicant speak to about how often this may happen and what have you, but
Matt Maston, if this is a catering license in a business, right? It's only staff and guests. I don't think anyone's gonna have a problem with 9 p.m.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So we'll just make it 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day, right?
I mean, even Monday to Friday, I don't know. Jonathan, Delilah, will you be
Monday to
operating
Friday, sorry, yeah.
ever on the weekend?
He's on mute.
We are not currently hosting any events on the weekends. We're only operating Monday through Friday currently.
Okay.
We just put it in.
Yeah, do you want to have it cover the weekend, so you don't
Just
have
in
to come
case?
back for an alteration? You don't have to be, you don't have to be open. Really up to you.
So at this juncture, I mean, I think that would probably be best in case that we ever do run into an instance where we are entertaining on the weekend. So, I am seeing that the board is amenable to that stipulation. So we would like to make that
so
change.
we will change the hours to 8 a.m., 9 p.m., 7 days a week.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And yeah, like I said, it's background music only. There is no outdoor space. No windows or doors would be kept open. And the operator, Aramark, as you may be familiar with, are experienced operators throughout the state.
Okay, that's all I have.
Any questions from the committee? Okay. Nelly, do you have anyone online?
No, there's no one.
All right, entertain a motion. Give a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
One. That passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us. So just a little background on the next two. These are two of the few enclosed sidewalk cafes in our district, which we have traditionally opposed. Because I mean, if you look at our prior letters, a lot of people feel like an open air sidewalk cafe is an amenity. It's connected to the sidewalk. But once you enclose it, essentially becomes part of the indoor space and is basically taking over. These have both been sidewalk cafes for quite a while. I think one of them goes back to 2009. So we have basically approved their renewals sort of as a matter of administration. Initially, these all went to the land use committees of either Chelsea or Hell's Kitchen, because they were, looking to use public space, and essentially enclose it. I talked to the co-chairs of both of those committees, and they said they would prefer us to handle it because we are experienced with the outdoor dining rules. And again, my understanding is they're not changing anything. But the only question, and they've been there a while, but DOT is making them come back, like they're making everyone come back. But the only thing people should be aware of is that we have traditionally opposed this whole concept, but we have not gone so far as to try to deny their renewals in the past. That, Wendy?
All right. So first up is item number 5, 368 West 23rd Street, Chelsea Square Diner.
Michael Kelly representing the applicant. I actually did this back in 1995 with the new plans, just about when I turned 10 years old. And nothing's changing inside. 39 tables, 78 seats. All seating is within the boundaries of the walls.
All right, we also got a STIP form from them, so this would be for the liquor license as well. And in terms of hours, so Is the enclosed cafe,
24 hours.
it's open 24 hours as well? Oh, yeah, I see that there.
It's open, it's part of the building.
Okay, so is there any problems with it or noise or anything?
No, the thing is, there's incessant bikes and bike.
Okay, well, we talked about, okay, I don't have anything, on this one, on either application.
Any questions from the committee or
I
Ingrid,
just,
bring that up?
the only thing is, I wish we could get a bike corral. I believe, Christine, we tried at one point. Didn't we try to get, was there 2 or 3?
The building applied for one, they just put planters in.
They did finally.
Yeah.
And so can they remove there's so much on the sidewalk, or is it just the signs? They don't remove, they leave them. I mean, we only have like this much space literally to go through
Yeah,
there.
they'll use it correct.
They'll use the corrals. At least we won't have the bikes there, but the racks will stay that are there. Okay, that's it. That's
Do we
all.
need is that all set? We don't need a certificate?
No, because I know it's been going on forever.
Construction info.
Yeah.
It has their photos show.
Nellie, can you bring Phyllis over, please?
There she is.
They're a good tenant. They're good neighbors.
Good to know.
This is the one who worked on the corral.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm Phyllis Waisman. I'm a member of the 300 West 21st, 22nd, and 23rd Streets Block Association. And the Chelsea Square Diner has been in existence and in this location for 46 years. They are a good neighbor. In fact, when our block association had coffee on the curb, they provided fresh muffins for the event. And a couple of years ago, they catered an event for Eric Botcher for participatory budgeting. And the only other thing I can tell you is that we are having the bike corral installed soon. There's 2 more planters being delivered this Friday. All the signage, the no parking signs, and the on sidewalk bike things have already been removed, and we're going to be repaving the sidewalk within the next month. But the bike corral is going to be available for all the restaurant bikes. There's going to be 16 spaces for bikes. So I hope you'll approve the enclosed sidewalk cafe for the Chelsea Square Diner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nellie, do we have any other hands raised online?
No, there's no one else.
Motion.
And this is for both the DOT approval and the SLA approval, right? Okay.
They're good neighbors.
We have a motion and we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, then on to our last application of the evening, number 6, which is 889 10th Avenue, the Greek Kitchen.
Yes, hello, everybody. Good evening. Kathleen Stathopoulos. I'm here for the Greek Kitchen.
Okay, thanks. I've had a couple questions about your the STIP form for the SLA.
Yeah.
On page 2, the occupancy numbers, I wasn't quite sure what was happening there. Do you have both an outside cafe and an enclosed cafe?
No, I think when I was, well, first I did it very late last night. I was not on the chain of emails. The
Yeah,
DOT
no,
did not
I
share my
know,
information. So
yeah,
I
I
kind of
understand. I understand it sort of fell through the cracks.
I couldn't line up the boxes, but what I meant by exterior, I meant that the enclosed cafe has 12 tables, 24 seats, and the inside restaurant, I mean, it's all inside.
Yeah.
But the inside restaurant has 6 tables, 24 seats.
Okay, all right, so I will change that on page 2.
I also put the wrong street, cross streets. It's actually 57th and 58th. I put 52nd and 53rd. It was really a late night.
That's okay. And then you didn't answer any of the questions about the sidewalk cafe. Is that because you're considering this as all the inside stip
Yes,
supplied.
yeah, exactly. I wasn't considering it a sidewalk cafe, but
Even though the DOT is considering it a sidewalk cafe.
I know, are they? I mean, I'm not really sure, but they
Well,
call
no,
it
I think
a
that's
closed
why
cafe.
they wouldn't have sent you to us if they didn't
Yeah,
consider it a
I
sidewalk
guess
cafe. So if you don't mind, I don't think there's anything controversial about
Okay.
page 7, the
I
DOT
can fill that
sidewalk.
in and email it to Nellie, if that's
That would be
fine.
great. That would be
Okay.
great. And you know, the other thing is you didn't circle any music on page 2. I assume it's background music.
It's background music, yeah, just
Yeah.
background music, yeah.
And the entire place closes at 10. So obviously the enclosed cafe will close at 10 as well.
Yes, 11 to 10 are their hours.
Okay.
They do serve alcohol.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's been there since 2009. You guys approved it in February. I have the date of 2009. Yeah.
And so we'll be voting on both the DOT application and the SLA alteration application. Okay. So you don't have to come back when it's time to apply to the SLA for the alteration.
Frank, why do we have to change to an alteration since they have that license?
Well, you can check with the SLA.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think I have to do that, to tell you the truth, because they're already serving liquor there, but I will check with them.
Well, no, because I mean, if you had a sidewalk cafe and were already licensed, the SLA was making you come back. Remember,
Well, that's
why.
true. Yeah, you're right. That's true. Yeah, they're making.
I don't think.
Yeah, I don't.
The SLA may be making a distinction with open and enclosed, but I don't know. So
Sounds
in any
good.
event, you don't have to come back to us.
I don't have to come
You
see
can
you
work it
again.
out with the SLA.
Sounds good.
Any other questions? Nelly, still no hands online?
There's no one.
We'll entertain a motion. Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
right. And that passes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
All right, so that ends the applicant portion of this evening, but we have one more item for discussion, which is NYC Council Bill amending outdoor dining rules.
Yeah, so a couple of just introductory things. First, I want to get this notice issue off the table. I don't think we need to talk about it anymore. But just so everyone is clear, and I've confirmed all these details with the video, this is now the 6th time this changes to outdoor dining rules have come before either a committee or the full board of CB4. There was the BLP meeting in October 2025, full board in November 2025, public hearing at the full board in early February 2026, executive committee in February 26, and then full board last week. Item meetings 2 through 5, 4 of those 5 meetings were done with absolutely standard notice. The notice we give to everything, to our email blast list. You know, the relevant letters were posted on the website. Everything was properly noticed. As for the initial BLP meeting, which occurred in October, any committee can add new business at a committee meeting. And in fact, most committees have actually new business and old business on their agenda. And Jesse Bodine was somewhat surprised that we don't have it on our agenda. So I think we will going forward. This was introduced as new business because we wanted to be able to bring a letter to the full board in a timely fashion so that we could meet the city council's meeting schedule. And in fact, we did 2 items of new business that night, which were announced at the beginning of the meeting. We also did our comments on the city budget. What happened was at the beginning of the meeting, I announced we were going to be discussing this issue. There have since been these sort of constant insinuations that somehow we invited representatives of the Hospitality Alliance to speak at this meeting. That is not what happened, and it's on the video, anyone can watch. I announced there was going to be this discussion at the end of the meeting. A lawyer for one of the applicants presented his application and at the end said, and I quote, "Will you be taking public comments on this?" To which I responded, "We take public comments on everything." So he stuck around. He made comments at the end of the meeting. We asked if anybody else had public comments and no one did. So we really tried to do the best we could under the circumstances And I don't think there's any reason to keep talking about a notice. We can just do this once and for all tonight. The current bill makes 4 basic changes. I think we're in agreement that we're in opposition to 3 of them, which are allowing grocery stores to have sidewalk cafes, allowing small licensed establishments to extend to neighboring property, and allowing roadway cafes to start 8 feet from the corner rather than 20 feet. Happy to discuss those, and if anyone wants to make comments on them, that's fine, but I'm assuming that's pretty settled. In addition, I think everyone is in agreement that a major issue here is enforcement, and that's something we are going to be stressing in every response. You can mention it again, but again, we're well aware of it. So we're basically here to talk about whether we're going to recommend supporting or opposing year-round roadway dining. I think everyone in the room has heard of the points on both sides, but just to summarize them, the basic opposition points to year-round dining are the notion of keeping the streets clean and rat-free, snow removal, and then the use of them by vagrancies and the homeless people. The people in favor of them talk about how it is too expensive for small businesses to take them down and put them up. I think one operator has estimated it's about $15,000 every time you want to take one down. And then also that allowing them year round would provide for more local jobs because it'd be more consistent volume. They wouldn't have seasonal employees. Again, that's just sort of a summary. People can talk about whatever they want. We would appreciate if someone has made the point about, say, rats, that you just say you oppose it, you agree with the rat point previously made. One thing I really want to stress is we got to really try to be civil on this, talk about the issues and not people making the points. I don't want a repeat of the, fiasco that occurred at Full Board last week. So please, everyone, try to be polite and calm about this. Thanks.
There is a second bill that goes with the 655.
Okay.
And the second bill talks about the clearance on the sidewalk.
Okay.
Which we have already discussed, but it also proposed to open the roadway cafe before 10 a.m., which I think we oppose.
Oh.
It's grouped into another bill.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And what's the current law on roadway cafes?
It opens at 10 a.m. And what
And they want to, what is the bill?
they want to open before that,
Okay.
8 a.m. or whatever.
All right. So you're recommending we
Right.
oppose it, which I think we would probably is the
Right.
consensus, but
What's the info on the frame? That's second bill.
I don't know.
1036, I think.
All right, well, Christine pulls up that number. So we can make sure that everyone has a chance to be heard. We have folks who are in person here in the room with us. We have folks online. If you're online and want to be heard, please just raise your hand. Nellie will bring you over. We are going to keep comments to 2 minutes. So we will time, just if we do it full board during the public session, just to make sure we're able to move things along.
Mike, I see you have your hand up. We're gonna have the committee discussion after we hear from everyone here from the community and the public. Is there something procedurally you want to discuss?
Well, no, I just want to get my 2 cents in on this grocery store aspect that we're not going for, okay?
Just mention it. You can just mention it when we get back to
All right.
To the committee discussion.
All right.
All right, should we start with folks who are in person with us?
Sure.
Do that. We didn't have a sign up sheet, so we will just go in order.
Well, actually, they did attendance, but I told them it wouldn't be in that order. Just do it in whatever order you want.
We can fight it out, or we can go sequentially from one and just in line. Or you were here first anyway, so.
Well, wait, he told me he didn't want to go first.
It's not gonna go first.
Okay.
Do I do it from?
You can maybe stand up like in the corner, yeah. maybe in the corner right there.
Had an owl test last night.
Okay.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Susan Palmer Marshall, President of the Council of Chelsea Block Associations, or CCBA. Many of us, including me, enjoy outdoor dining, including at roadway cafes. This is not about eliminating them. My comments focus specifically on roadway cafes and the proposal to extend them to 12 months. The executive committee heard testimony following the city council hearing and recommended maintaining a 9-month roadway season. Unless new operational information has been presented, and none has, there is no clear basis for reversing that position. There has been no operational plan explaining how year-round roadway cafes would function, no clear framework for winter conditions, sanitation, or enforcement. Given the shortcomings of the current program, there is no reason to assume that new rules will succeed without demonstrated enforcement reform. I also want to address the suggestion that block associations are a special interest. That is inaccurate. We regularly engage business owners on sidewalk and roadway applications to foster dialogue and balance. Year-round roadway cafes are also not universally sought by restaurants. Some establishments have chosen not to pursue them because they are difficult to operate. If the goal is to support restaurants while minimizing conflicts, a seasonal model, potentially a simpler European-style approach, may offer a better balance. Expanding to a 12-month roadway model without proven enforcement capacity is premature. I urge the board to stand by its 9-month recommendation. Thank you.
Minute and a half. Very well done.
All right, Joe? You have no- you can go ahead.
So not here representing Healthy Neighbor Coalition, which is formed of 8 block associations from the 4th to 7th Streets, 2 bids and 3 not-for-profits. We meet regularly every 2 weeks about neighborhood issues and all kinds of range of things. I just want to note that, of course, we support the board on no retail establishments, groceries, no tables, expansion, not greater than that, 15 feet, 20 feet, and not so close to the curb. I think the issue here is just what can happen with the year-round stuff, right? So one of the things I spoke to Ted a couple of weeks ago at a board meeting, and he really hammered home the question of the cost and how do we achieve that balance to make sure people can afford this. So I also want to make some recommendations today on how this can be addressed, right? First one is storage. And that's a big issue with what happens when they come down, where do they get put? So I really recommend that the city looks at working with these kind of owners, to figure out a way, whether it's through reduced fees for the roadway dining, something that gives a leg up to say, if you're a business, and Ted, give me some guidance on this. I was trying to figure out a way is that businesses less than a certain grocery seats or something, you want to, if our goal is to benefit the small businesses, I'm not worried about the large guys, right? The small ones. Is there some metric, don't say yes, but like something that could be a measure to say if a business has less than X something, then their fee should be cut as a way to get to defray the cost of the storage for those 3 months. I don't know what that should be.
I mean, if you want me to comment on an hour later, I can do it later.
Later.
I'm just putting it out there as a thought. And again, I think the issue is, maybe if there's some kind of cheaper design system, because that is expensive as to what's currently in the books, that makes it easier to take it apart into storage, and store it. And of course, I think we all agree that it's the enforcement issue here, right? So right now, the bill in front of us enables retail businesses who have no experience in serving food to put out tables. They enable the broad cafes bigger than 20 feet. And I looked at it carefully, Christine, tell me if I'm wrong, I noticed said that the budding property owners must give permission for that. So that helps a bit, but still, who knows how that works out in the end. I think the real.
But you're opposed to that, right?
I'm opposed to the broader thing.
Yeah,
yes.
okay,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, but I just noticed that little Philip, I want to make sure I understand.
And it only applies to businesses that are at 20 feet or less.
Less than 20 feet.
And it's only one neighboring property, but.
Doesn't say that.
No, we looked this up last, I thought it said abutting.
No, it says abutting, the budding.
But we're in agreement, so that.
Yeah, budding's on the side.
Oh, yeah, now I meant either side, but it can't go endlessly. I think abutting means the most.
I look at the real estate industry,
That's up.
water finds its way through rock.
Okay.
All the time, so just.
On any, yeah.
So I think the main thing here is that there was a huge number of block associations from Chelsea and from Hell's Kitchen that together coordinated, thought about this, figured it out. And that is not just a random interest group that doesn't care about the neighborhood in general. It's part of the part and parcel of what we all do as neighbors, and there's got to be a reconciliation of the interests here. So is there a way to figure out to make it, the big issue that was brought up, it's not affordable for the small business owner to pull this down and put it up. How do we make it, and how could our board, which is always solution oriented, say, here's an idea, here are ideas to consider, as opposed to it's either or. I am very tired of being in the binary position here. It's either we do it or we don't. We're for small businesses or against, we're not. We're all one community trying to figure it out. So I really recommend that this committee and the board look for recommendations to figure out a way to make that breaking down or the construction of those things more affordable. Thank you. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Lydia Andre, I'm from the Chelsea Neighbors Coalition, and I'm also a member of the Block Association. And I'm here because I was very disturbed by things I heard at the executive committee. And I want to make a few points. I don't think the community is confused about the difference between roadway and sidewalk cafes. I don't think the choice here is between getting our space on the sidewalk or having the roadways. And I want to remind restaurant owners like you, who I respect and I believe in small businesses, I've owned small businesses, that small businesses thrive when the communities love them and embrace them. You need the people who are on community boards to make your business thrive, and that's the way it should be. We are in a symbiotic relationship here. And when the community compromised initially and approved the 9-month, we did not do so because we wanted to overburden small businesses or restaurant owners. We did so because we thought it was a reasonable approach to how we all have to share this public space. And so I have to second what Joe says. There are other solutions here. You spoke very eloquently about the cost, about the $5,000 permit, about the $15,000 to take it up and down. That is not to be fixed on the back of the community members. That is something we should go directly to City Hall about. We don't want to see empty storefronts. We hate them. We want to see thriving businesses. We all freaking love outdoor dining. Who doesn't? And I also want to make a comment about the adjacent building owner. I know many landlords who would make a deal at the expense of their tenants. I'm sorry if you don't think that's true, but it is true. This was a push by a very big, very profitable lobby. There is nothing wrong with having a hospitality lobby. It's all good and it's all great, but not at the expense of the citizens and the taxpayers. I don't think the community board should be making those trade-offs. I think more public input, which I know is not on your backs, it's hard to get it, but we are here telling you this, and we are representing a lot of people. Thank you.
Thanks.
I've heard of this, so Matt, you're not going first, you're going last.
Oh, no, pressure. Okay, my name is Matthew Robinson, I'm also a Block Association member on West 16th Street. A couple things. One, when you deal with road beds, there's the side streets, there's the bike lane, or the one adjacent to the bike lane, and then there's also the bus lane. Each one of those have different design criteria and different safety issues, and I've not seen that addressed at all in any discussions, whether it's at a board meeting or what. And I think that has to be addressed. Also, I haven't heard anyone talk about the construction that's slated to happen from 34th Street to 14th Street on 7th Avenue, where the entire street is going to be ripped up. And I'm not sure whose responsibility that will be to say, oh, tomorrow we're gonna go onto your block and you're gonna have to leave. That should not be on, the taxpayers, it should be on.
The cafes do that. Who did that on 9th Avenue?
The same,
I'm just saying,
I didn't know that.
this is the answer.
Okay, I think that's pretty much it, but I don't think that the bike lanes are safe. And you have to go across the bike lanes to get in and out of the restaurant, and there's no real safety area. So I do think, and if you're gonna hit by a bus, by a bicycle rather, whose fault is it? And I think that the location of that shed, that corral, whatever you wanna call it, does foster an issue with bike safety or with safety of the person that's dining. And if there's alcohol with it, it's even worse. Thank you.
All right, good. Is everybody in the room? So we'll move online. Nope. But no, he doesn't. Mike, I'm gonna, is it still just for the committee discussion?
I guess so.
Yeah, okay. Then I am gonna, let's just hear from everybody from the public first, and then the committee will chat. So Nellie, can you start bringing folks over?
Yes, I'm bringing over Michelle, Sean, and Andrew.
Great, thank you. All right, Michelle, feel free to unmute.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Go ahead.
Yes, Michelle Spinner here, 41-year resident of Chelsea, speaking on behalf of the London Terrace Tenants Association, of which I am vice president. Three things are patently obvious to us. The current outdoor dining policies have been in effect for less than a year, and proper and reliable enforcement of those policies has been mostly non-existent. Until the city can find a way to quickly respond and reliably resolve noise, safety, and sanitation complaints under the current policies, we shouldn't even consider expanding those policies. Two, it is also abundantly clear that the one size fits all approach to outdoor dining throughout the entire city is untenable at best and abusive and dangerous at worst. Different neighborhoods have different needs and different desires. What might work in Hell's Kitchen is anathema in Chelsea and potentially catastrophic in downtown Flushing. Expanding the program to 12 months seems insane, given our experience with the two major snowstorms and their aftermaths this winter. Where will the snowplows put the plowed snow after storms? One of my neighbors told me she was running into the street to flag down the 10th Avenue bus for elderly neighbors because the bus drivers couldn't see them for the mountains of plowed snow. With streets filled with bus lanes, bike lanes, and dining sheds, there might be one lane left over for plowed snow, leaving just one lane of traffic going north on 10th Avenue to the Lincoln Tunnel during rush hour. We are asking our city streets and our sidewalks to do entirely too much. Please don't listen to the hospitality industry's well-paid lobbyists. We are not Paris with extra wide boulevards and sidewalks. I believe with Joe Restuccia, I can't pronounce his name, I'm sorry, because I do think we can find a cost-effective solution to storing the sheds during the winter months. I can't pronounce my own name half the time. I'm sorry, Joe. This is about keeping public streets and sidewalks public for the widest, safest public use and enjoyment, and not handing them to an industry that has already been massively subsidized and deregulated. The LTTA asks that you reject the proposed new outdoor dining policies. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. And I think
Sean.
Sean,
Yes, can you hear me?
yes, go for it.
Okay, great. So my name's Sean Dunn. I'm one of the owners of the Red Stash in 52nd Street in Hell's Kitchen. I'm speaking on behalf tonight for support of year-round Broadway dining. You've already talked about a lot of the points before, but yeah, this was our first year doing it, and the amount of costs of just like operating it, constructing it, and then also taking it down was around $15K. And unfortunately, I'm not in the position of having a lot of resources, so spending $15,000 a month or for a year just to construct this was a big burden, but was necessary just for the general survival of my restaurant. And then so in process of saving the $15K could be used for other resources in my restaurant, like fixing different maintenance issues with my kitchen supplies and things like that. And then keeping the roadway dining year round would remove repeated expenses, reduce general waste and more sustainability, and give us a chance to kind of generate revenue through the winter months when the weather is actually good. Most importantly, it will help keep me maintain all my staff and not have to let them go during like the patio season once it's over. And it's less about having just the convenience of having it, but more about just having general survival and stability, knowing like my cash flow I'll actually have additional seating essentially through the slower months as well. So I would have you urge and support for it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Andrew, you're up.
Hello. I try not to repeat what the other
folks have said and what you said before. So I'm against the year-round scaffolding for the reasons mentioned. I'd also like to mention that that when a restaurant goes out of business, the shed will be abandoned, just like we had the scaffolding on the buildings that, doesn't get addressed. The next thing is the process to change any of this just seems insane. So I've been to about 5 or 6 meetings now. I've spoken to most of you about 5 or 6 times. So I don't understand why they can't come up with a balanced bill. So I feel like it was rushed through. There's little or no notice to the community. There's no steps involved. So it's either they have it or they don't. And I believe the hours are until midnight, right? I just did some Googling online about enforcement. And according to Google AI, that the sidewalk cafe enforcement is now done by DOT as well since 2023. So DOT enforcement is non-existent. I filed 311s. They might get addressed Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, but there's never actually a note about what they did, and it doesn't seem like anything ever gets done. These are the same people that are now supposed to go against the stipulations that CB4 and the community and the businesses agreed to about what time they should close the windows, the number of outdoor seats, and all that stuff, right? If you look at Alfie's right now, they have all their seats filled. They rearranged the tables and more people than they're supposed to. And their windows are open till midnight every night. That's different in their sidewalk steps than what's in their shed steps. I don't think the sidewalk steps apply anymore. So I think enforcement is a major issue. And I would be supportive of the year-round cafes and sidewalks and the sheds if they could have real enforcement, because it's really lacking. The only enforcement we have is the police about a noise issue. There's no more nuisance committee from CB4. We used to have a quality of life committee at CB4, and they're all gone, right? So the community, we're speechless. We're just left to handle whatever happens out there while the restaurants are struggling. And I appreciate that they need to do whatever they can to stay in business. But if they're business.
That's 2 minutes. If you could wrap it up, please.
Okay, so my last statement is what we need. It's one sentence. So what we need is a balanced plan vetted by community, businesses, and politicians, which does not include bundling, like, next door things and other things, and does include a robust enforcement plan. Thank you for letting me talk again.
Thanks.
Next, we have Phyllis, David, and Pamela.
Great. Phyllis, I think you'll be up first when you come over.
Hi again. I'm a member of the 300 West 21st, 22nd, and 23rd Street Block Association. I want to just say I support what Matthew Robinson said before about safety, because I really believe it's a big issue. Last summer, when Fellini's on 8th Avenue, the small coffee shop, had its outdoor or roadside dining, people were standing on the street, which is very narrow, and there's a bike lane that people had to cross to get to the outside dining, and bikes go in every direction on 8th Avenue. And I was really concerned that someone was going to get hurt. So I oppose the year-round dining and agree with what was said before. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. David, you're up next.
Hey everyone, David DiParalisa. I own Verse on 9th Avenue and 49th Street. And hello everyone again. So I wrote a letter that to the full board, and I also sent the same letter to the City Council's Committee on Transportation. And so I'm here for a variety of reasons. One is to share that I believe that kind of all the proposals on the table are not great, right? I think that the current bill for 365 dining needs to be fixed. So, what would I like as a business? I'd like to have outdoor roadway dining. I'd like to have it as much as I possibly can. Do I want to have outdoor dining in the middle of the winter? No. Do I want to rip up the outdoor dining every year? No. So there's kind of a tension that isn't solved by this bill. That doesn't sound like we as a group are going to solve either. That really requires some public policy or regulations from DOT. And so insofar as this is an imperfect intro 655, I'd say support it. Insofar as I would like it to be better, I'd say let's advocate for improvements. I think I'd actually like to talk about the other bill, the introduction or proposed bill. It's T 2026-1336. This is the clear path stuff. So I wanted to talk about this because the proposals that are in that bill, which talk about moving everything back to the old standard of 8-foot clear paths, I support that, but I only support that because of how imperfect the standards are today. And what I specifically mean are right now, when someone is designing either a roadway cafe or a sidewalk cafe, they're doing so looking at a variety of objects, and the objects like valve covers and street posts that are 2 inches by 2 inches, or a manhole, are reason enough, according to the regulations, to be avoided entirely, which means that an element that's difficult for business owners is to design around the reality of the street and the sidewalk.
David, that's been 2 minutes, so if you could wrap it up, please.
Yeah, so my wrap is like I'd love to work with the community board on advocacy to propose better legislation that sort of helps with some of the complications that are not being talked about as much as the things that are proposed and upfront in front of us to vote on today.
Yeah, I think I've seen both of your letters, but if you have stuff that isn't in a letter, if you want to send another email, to Melly at the court office, we'll certainly take a look at it.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right, Pamela, you're up next.
Hi, again, it's Pamela Wolf, Chelsea resident. I did send a letter, and I think I expect that everyone read it. I just wanted to say that my primary objection to the roadway sheds is sanitation. My heart bleeds for the sanitation workers, particularly the street sweepers. It is impossible to clean, and in the season when it's heavy rains, the drainage is next to impossible. Debris piles up on the uphill sides of the sheds. It makes the perfect resting place and nesting places for the rats, and that's my primary complaint about it. I was delighted to see them all go away and hoped that they would never come back. Thanks.
Thank you.
Now I think we're ready for our next two.
Next, we have Scott.
Great. Scott, feel free to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Hey there. So I just wanted to, rather than try to make all the points, I thought I'd just make a couple. So first, I think with the intro about the clear path, the version that's at issue or up for consideration this year, unlike the one from last year, has this 50% requirement, which I think is actually a good idea. I think one of my concerns is if you look at a place like Cafeteria on 7th Avenue, where the sidewalk is very wide, they've taken basically 80% or 90% of the sidewalk for their sidewalk cafe. And I think that having at least 50% of the space free is actually a good idea. Whether it's 8 feet or 50% or 10 feet or 50%, I leave it up to you guys, but I think the 50% idea is a good idea. Second, I think just generally, I'm very disappointed that this conversation, which should be about serving the public and whether the public benefits for the extra 3 months, is really not about the public at all. This conversation is really about, it's not about leaving it open so that we can serve people during those 3 months. It's about leaving it open so we don't have to take it down and we don't have to pay for the expense of doing that. And I think that's disappointing. Because one of the people who testified at the public hearing at the city council was a disabled person who said, there are very few places or no places I can go in the winter because I must sit outside because I'm immunocompromised. And all I kept thinking was, if she showed up at one of these places in February when it was 5 degrees outside, that restaurant would be able to tell her, oh, I'm sorry, the roadway is closed, so please find somewhere else. And so the fact that we're allowing the roadway to stay open for those extra 3 months doesn't actually benefit her because the person can say no. So maybe if we're going to allow 12 months a year, we should think about making it mandatory that there be service in these areas. And actually, I think that should probably apply to the sidewalk as well, but like we're talking about the roadway, right? So that was point number 2.
That was 2 minutes if you want to wrap up.
Okay, I think that the third thing I would say is several people have said, oh, this is a burden, but yet they are doing it. So I understand it costs $15,000 a year to take it up and putting it down. But if you're still doing it, that means that there's some profit there for you and that on balance, you think it's better for you to do it than not. And honestly, if you're not making at least $15,000 a year by having this thing out in the street, I don't know that you should be having it out in the street. I guess, so that's it.
Thanks.
All right, so now I think we've heard Nellie, right? We're done with hands raised.
Yes, we are.
Okay. All right, so then we will move to the committee discussion portion of this. Mike, I know you had your hand raised, so go for it.
Yeah, hi. I brought this up before in relation to another BLP application, but if you guys are aware of the Hudson Market, which is on 10th Avenue between 27th and 28th, these folks have been out there with many, many tables for many years on a very wide sidewalk. And once the rules changed, all of a sudden those tables disappeared. And I asked the owner, gee, what happened here? And he said, well, it turns out we get our license from Agriculture and Markets, the State Department of Agriculture and Markets, and there just is no way for us to get a permit now from DOT or anybody else to put those tables back out there. So when people talk about this grocery store prohibition that we're trying to, lay onto this, you're really going to cover establishments like that, ones who've been frozen out by virtue of these new rules, simply because they get their license to operate elsewhere. So I don't think it's a good idea to exclude somebody like Hudson Market, from the ability to have this. Now, it's great. The community loves it. I think it's the greatest, space around here. And Frank, I think you must have walked by there a million times. It's a block north of Marquee, the nightclub. And lots of kids from avenues go there for lunch. People come down from a few blocks north from all those businesses for lunch. And they sit around and they have a good time, especially when the weather's nice. So one size does not fit all when it comes to that. Okay, just letting you know.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
All right.
Right, and I think the problem is the definition of what this would allow is very broad. It would extend to retail food stores or food warehouses.
Yeah,
so
I know. Yeah, it's a
that's
problem.
Supermarket could put out something.
Yeah, I mean that's an issue. That's what I'm talking about. Right. All right.
Okay.
So.
Inga?
So I just, a few things I've noted down. So currently there is basically no enforcement. We have sidewalk cafes now with awnings, sidewalls, planters, bars, furniture, extra tables are put out all the time, etc. And the only way to get that done, to get that taken care of, is months to years of 311s, and you have to get your entire neighborhood to complain so many times that they actually get tired of it and just come fix it. And then a week later, it's back. So there's no enforcement. Why would they expand it without proven enforcement first? DOT stated at the hearing, which I attended, that they will not take stipulations from the community board. They'll take no recommendations. They will not enforce it. It will not go into part of the license. So they're in essence excluding the community by excluding the community board.
That's the way.
They said that.
Well,
They
that's
the way
said
it
that.
is now.
Yeah, sorry, that's the way it always was under
Right.
DCA.
So
Our leverage comes with the
more-
licensing
so
with the
we're giving
SOI.
more and getting nothing, more of nothing. We're getting even less because they're gonna take no stipulations.
But
So
they're
they're
not taking now.
But so we're giving more and getting less.
Where is it getting?
We're giving
less?
3 months more. That's what they want. They want
But
3
what do
months
you mean
more.
by getting less? I'm not clear on what you're saying.
Okay, so 9 months, no enforcement. Now we're gonna have 12 months of no enforcement.
Okay.
They get 3 months more, we get less.
I don't understand the get less part of it.
Okay.
But we
I'm
can
just-
just get nothing incremental to it, and then if
Thank
those who think that that additional time is detrimental, we're therefore getting less.
We're getting less, thank you. So Deal stated if there is, they said this at the hearing. If there is a major snowstorm or multiple snowstorms, they will ask restaurants to take the sheds down. If the restaurants can't afford to take them down now, how are they gonna do it in 3 days' notice? And how are they gonna arrange to have it done in 3 days' notice? Snowstorms don't come scheduled 6 months in advance. So that's not gonna happen. We know that. There's already no enforcement. The restaurants can't, if I'm not done, the restaurants can't afford to take them down. How are they gonna take them down? The city said in their meeting, they will then ask people to take their sheds down. The main reason they want year-round dining is this because they can't afford to take them down. So that seems odd. The bill expands to all food retail spaces, which can be bodegas, delis, major grocery stores. We could have every Gristedes in the city. I'm only naming one. There are many others that has a dining shed and a sidewalk cafe outside. The community was really very involved in this first bill. I think it's being done without enough community input. And just one more thing, expanding the frontage to other buildings. This is something for landlords to profit. So this is a real estate industry land grab. They're gonna charge, they're gonna charge whoever's next door, or if they're giving you space, they're gonna charge someone for it.
I don't
They're
think,
gonna raise their
I don't think
rents.
I've heard any support for that.
No, but there's just so many things. There's zero enforcement. We're giving them more of our space and we're getting nothing. They need to fix the enforcement, show us that it works first, and then come and ask us if we can have more of it. I don't think you should give them something if they've given us nothing. And then just say, here, have more.
Well, I think that's just one thing. I think some of this we gotta think about is good operators versus bad operators. And my sense in everything we've been doing, it's probably somewhere between 10 and 20% of the people that cause all the problems. So the good operators, it's not their fault, there's no enforcement.
No.
It's not like they're supposed to be.
Correct, but it's also not the entire neighborhood's fault, so we shouldn't have to give up.
Well, right, but
space.
the issue is penalizing good op. If we have someone who's followed all the rules for 9 months, I think that's
They need to step up and work together with the community and talk to, CB 1, 2, 3, 8, all of them were at the meeting and more. And just flat out said they do not agree with this. So those community boards all said no at the committee hearing.
But we're a community board for, and everyone has their own opinion.
Correct.
Based on their neighborhood.
We were not there, we didn't have an opinion, but a lot of community boards did. Are surrounding us, we need to not you know, yes, I understand there's 20% of the restaurants that are good operators,
No, I know, I said 20%
but there's
of bad.
100% of the.
20% of bad.
Okay, so 20% bad, but there's 100% of good neighbors that work that don't want this. So somebody has to work together before they do anything. We have no council representation whatsoever right now. So that's another detriment to us. They're gonna push this through and we have no voice.
Can I comment now? Because I've been waiting and I have a lot of information. First off, the outdoor dining program was not successful and the businesses will not be able to maintain their current plan, and that's not something that I think businesses understood was the cost of taking it down. So it's not done out of malice, it was just, you know, a learning process as we go. There's some things that was misquoted that people clearly don't understand the program. Outdoor dining, roadway dining does not have scaffolding, so it's not going to be an issue with homeless people. The flooring is currently removable for cleaning, which a lot of people are saying, you gotta make sure it's removable. It's already in the current law. And that there is actually a drain channel right next to the curb for roadway dining. How many letters did we get in support and on the petitions? We had about 200 people from the community. And we got what, 6 or 7 letters from businesses that were in favor. So just to say a blanket statement that the community doesn't want this, there are a lot that do, they're just not as vocal and they don't come to these meetings regularly. So the storage idea in theory, the heart is in the right place, but it doesn't make sense. When you build an outdoor structure for 15 grand and you remove it and you take it down, those materials are damaged. You can't reuse them. There's very few parts of it that I can reuse and store. Storage isn't the big issue, it's taking down and rebuilding. So, you know, there's a lot to say about that. With snow, I get that it's a fear because we recently had it, but we haven't had a snowstorm like this in 21 years. Also, keep in mind, outdoor roadway dining is not supposed to be April 1st. Today it's 70 degrees outside. So the majority of the winters that I've been here, and I'm from upstate New York, Rochester, we have a shitload of snow because, because of Lake Ontario, get a lot of lake Quebec. Since I've been in the city, it's very rare that I see snow maybe 3 times, 3 days out of the whole winter, with the exception of this year. So just to try to get an idea, like,
I just want to add something on that. In the new law, there is a proposal, it says that the operators have to take care of the snow. So it has been included.
There's no enforcement, and DOT said that they, at the committee.
No, I heard that, I heard what they said, but at the same time, they said that the operators will be responsible for.
There's no enforcement, people don't even show their sidewalks.
so I just wanted to add, when they plow and everyone's worried that the structures are there, what do they do when the car's parked? They go around it. And how many more people are gonna be driving if there's a snowstorm? I don't see much traffic, it's mostly people walking the street when there's a major snowstorm. So I wanted to just talk about my experience as an operator and the enforcement that I've had. During COVID, it was a different time, but this new year, when we started with our application process, first off, we applied in November of 2024 and we literally just got in March 2026 our roadway permit. So that's how long it's taking, which is a nightmare for businesses. But for enforcement, they told us that we could put our roadway dining out because they're behind with the letter. They came to give us 1,000. Well, first off, before that, there was an outdoor structure already existing in my space. I went to the Block Association. We asked to have roadway dining, they were okay with it, but somebody complained and DOT removed it without even giving us any knowledge. So they ripped it all down, so there was enforcement going on there. Then when we tried to get our permit, they came and gave us $1,000 fine for not posting the letter, and then they came back a week later when we were open and gave us a second fine for $1,000. And then also, when we sent in our plan, they sent it back to us, DOT, and saying that because my street is a little bit narrow, they wanted us to make our structure a little bit shorter so fire trucks and stuff can go by. So there is enforcement there just because you may or may not see it, but I think we can all agree that it can be better. And you know, some of the things that I wanted to speak on behalf of the things that we can make this better, because last time we were at the full board, Joe was like, you know, you said, let's come to some sort of resolution. I don't think, you know, the structure cost being built and taking down is really a way that we can come to a compromise on that portion of it. But I tried to come up with some other ideas that are not punishing bad operators and rewarding the good, to meet kind of in the middle. Because remember, this whole legal plan that they have before us, it had a lot of asks. And the businesses we're hearing everything has to be no from the community, and it would be nice if that, we can give one little piece to the businesses from this to try to make it a little bit more balanced. So, things that I would ask for is, to put in this letter, is the application process should be simplified and faster, with more people to oversee the application process, reducing administrative steps, providing clear guidance for applicants, and allocating for additional staff to review the applications more efficiently. The cost of the structure is too expensive for small businesses. The permit fees, commissioner fee review, and consent fees at the current cost of construction and seasonally rebuilding places a significant financial burden and necessary cost and logistical challenge to make this program accessible for smaller mom and pop shops. Enforcement and oversight should be balanced, and I think that we all agree that there should be more. Enforcement should be balanced and targeted. Enforcement should be addressing these with the repeated 311 complaints, and not fall into you know, consistently harassing the good owners that actually are doing things properly. And addressing the community boards about sanitation. I know that we all have a lot of nightmares since COVID, because we had the excess of homeless people put in hotels. You know, the rat problem was an issue, and, you know, there's businesses that closed during COVID, so you were left with these outdoor structures. So I think that's fresh on everybody's mind. You know, but something that you guys might have seen, if you ask yourself, when's the last time you saw a rodent or a rat on the street? It's been a long time for me. And I had looked up in the bill, and March of 2024 is when we actually started putting the trash cans with containers out. So, you know, when I think about this opportunity to be open for 3 more months, how many more rats do I think are gonna come out in the street during the cold winter? Probably none. I don't think that would be an impact, but I do think, because of the structures are removable, to make a compromise for the community, is that we ask business owners to clean up underneath the structures, like maybe seasonally, or, you know, by just to give it a deep cleaning, because business owners have to deal with how long the application is gonna take. They pay all these fees, they have to take down and rebuild. There's no way that they're going to let their outdoor structure go in shambles for people to live in and pee in and vomit and just leave it a mess for their customers when they come in. So just like, I'm just trying to put a little bit of practicality in some of this. So the incentivizing opportunity that I think that we could come up as a proposal is, you know, if we agree to do the year-round dining, and because we don't want to punish the bad operators, but we want to give the good ones an opportunity to succeed, and maybe business owners that can't afford it, maybe what we say is just like we do at the BLP, wait a year and then come back, and if you're good operators, we'll give you longer hours. Maybe we can apply that same sentiment to the roadway dining and say, hey, we'll let you guys do year round. After 7 or 8 months, you can leave your structure up, but if there's repeated complaints, it comes back to the board, and the board can make a decision to say you have to remove it or not. That way, good operators can remain open. They don't have to do the costs. They only have to build it the first time, and they'll get the review at the you know, at the end of the term. And that would eliminate some of the bad operators. So those are my points that I want to make, and I wanted to say I appreciate the Chelsea Block Association for actually thinking about business operators and putting up saying, let's have like outdoor dining without barricades and do it like the French, because that means that you really hurt the business community. So I appreciate that. But realistically, that is just a great idea, but it causes too much of a concern, obviously, for obvious reasons of people getting injured, and that's too much of a liability. So those are like my ideas for how we can mitigate some of the problems. Homelessness, no outdoor structures having the roof. Rats, we have it cleaned seasonally, make sure it's a deep cleaning. And then the other one is, we do the year-round grinding, but they only get it for the first year, and then they have to come back for the board to let them maintain operating or take down based on how well they operate with their communities.
The only thing with the seasonal cleaning is what is the water, cannot use water on the sidewalk or street during the winter, and I don't know what the dates are.
November 1st to March 31st.
Yeah.
They cannot clean anything.
Well, I mean, they can clean it right before that season and right after. The reality is if something spills in my outdoor dining and I have it open for winter, I will go out there and sweep it and mop it up. You can still remove the structure and sweep underneath it and clean. And if it is cold weather, rats, they like the smell of garbage and stuff. I don't think that's a thing. My structure specifically, all the beams butt adjacent, so there's not really anything like people can go out there in the morning and like sweeping up cigarette butts that don't fall through because it's pretty much airtight. So I'm not as worried as much as the food underneath, but I hear other people's concerns, so that's why I'm sharing my experience, based on my structure and that. And full disclosure, Sean is my business partner that was up from Red Stash. It's a small place, it has only 30 seats inside. The first year we didn't realize how expensive it was gonna be, and to continue doing this, we might not be able to rebuild for the duration of our four year. So this opportunity to have year round is letting the opportunity for small businesses to maintain what they have going. And don't have to shut down before the 4-year term. It's gonna give the opportunity for small businesses that can't afford to take down and rebuild a structure to be able to apply, which will give more jobs to the community. And it'll give, a big break for some of the other businesses like my roadway structure. It is expensive. And I can rebuild it, but it's a hassle because I haven't gotten any complaints from my outdoor dining. I close it at 9 o'clock, probably hours before I'm supposed to.
You're like 1 in a million though.
But.
You are the ideal,
All right.
you care, you're here.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Jen, let's. move on.
you would say first.
Oh, no, okay. Yeah, about the enforcement, and I feel for everybody on that, I've been through that and it's unbearable. I think we should require a systematic inspection and not just reactive. So there should be people going around and looking at those places and not based on 311 or whatever, just enough staff that they can go and do it, look at the place and inspect them, inspect that they are doing the right job. And I think that would be much more effective than the 311.
I think so too, because then if someone changes the
Right.
seating and stuff, they can do it. I would have to also make sure they're doing it while the business is open
No,
and
yeah,
not before, because sometimes.
So I think that's something that
shouldn't be on the resident.
right, and that's something that we could, require if we want to go with the, give them something, say, but we want, the community want this. And this is what we want, that can be much more effective.
Yeah, because the Board of Health already does it for
Right.
food operations.
Right. So I think that's something I would do, and definitely, I think.
They should just stick for a year so we know that it
Yeah.
works and not just give outdoor dining full years. We need proof that they're
Oh,
doing.
we're not there yet. Okay, and then include stipulation, I think that's a good idea. We should, if we have stipulation, they should accept them, and by the way, we put some things in the letter, in the boxes, but it's very, very limited, right?
It's modification, we're allowed to
Right.
propose modifications.
right.
And then indicate whether the operator
And
agrees.
so we could request that stipulation be
enforced
and taken in account and enforced, and so that's two things that we can say, the community should have that. you know, and then somebody said mandatory service. I thought that was a good idea, right?
What?
Right.
Yeah, so my points are, I think that people are losing sight of the fact that, when you launch a business, and I'm very pro-business, but if you're launching a business, your business case should be based on the seats in your restaurant. That is the space that you are renting. The roadway space is a bonus that was created during COVID. It is almost 100 extra, square feet that you're giving, and you're effectively getting free from the government, rent free from
It's
the
not
government,
free.
from the public. But from the public, it's public space that now is becoming the owner's space, okay? And so much as I feel for the businesses and the amount of people that may be employed or not employed during the various seasons, that's no different from a normal seasonal business. And as much as I feel for the cost of the roadway dining, it is again, your business plan should be based on the rent of the actual building, not this extra space that you're all of a sudden getting as bonus. It is just bonus. And so I want people to just keep that in mind. As I'm sympathetic, I love an outdoor dining, but I hate seeing empty roadway sheds during the winters and in the rain. And with the increase of encampments that are all over the city, especially in Chelsea, this is not more things that we need that are out there, that are abandoned, that are an eyesore, that are not properly maintained. However, if they did actually actively operate through the 12 months, I'd be supportive. I'd love to see that, but I would say the majority of them are not. And if there was a stipulation that was actively being used properly during the 12 months, great, fantastic. But no one wants to see an empty box that, people are always trying to break into.
I think that's a great compromise, but I would like just to say one thing. We keep saying public space and people are getting stuff for free, basically like free rent. The reality is like the fees for this, for my outdoor dining structure, which is maybe 20 feet, is $15,000. And I have to pay the fees to the city. It's like 4,000 to the commissioner, about 4 and a little bit more to the permit. Yeah, and then you have to pay what's called the consent fee of $5,000. I thought it was a one-time fee, $5,500, and I found out it's annually. So it's pretty much like a car taking up parking space.
Why do we ask for that?
I know.
In the bill, it says 1,050.
Yeah.
No,
Well, there's
1,050
other
is the
parts
basic
that have-
thing.
Yeah.
After
But-
that, you have all the other pieces.
Plus also they determine the square footage and how much they determine your cost. And by neighborhood, some of the neighborhoods blocks are $15 a square foot and some are 35. So you have to calculate what your square footage is, see if it's $10, $15 or 35 per square foot. And then that's how they come up with the price. So it's not just like.
So the city's renting public space.
I know they're renting the space, so it's about money.
Yeah.
And that money's not going back into our community, as you pointed out.
Unless you're
That's
working in the
something else.
community and get hired and are making money, then it's going, or if people are enjoying outdoor dining, then it goes back to the.
So one, I think, what I might get lost is like, it is an amenity to the public, to the people who live here, to the people who visit here. Like today, my friends are all texting me, let's go outside, let's go somewhere where we can like get a drink or get food, and we can't do that because of the law, right? And if you think about December is the busiest time in New York City for tourism, and yet if it's a warm December, people can go outside and enjoy that outdoor dining. The businesses can make more money at a time when they can make. So I think, just one second, so. What I saw in the law is that it's December 1st, it's the end, and it doesn't restart until March 31st. So that's actually 4 months, not 3 months, so it's a third of the year that the structures are prohibited. And so I think that we should really think about, the people that use them and go to them, including a lot of us here. As being an amenity to the city, and I understand, obviously, we're gonna make the enforcement point, and that's a problem. I hit my head on like a umbrella that's at the outdoor dining rep for my house all the time. And it's blocking, it's not following the rules, all of that. But I do think we need to be supportive of the people who use these all the time and within the rules that have been set. To also clarify the sheds point, like everyone hated the sheds from COVID, right? But the new rules say you can't have a fixed roof. And so there is like sort of less of that concern than there used to be. I understand there's like the sides and the floor, and there still is a bit of sort of encampment point, but it is different than it used to be. One thing I just would really encourage us to do is to make the point about the fees, because it is $1,000 for 4 years, which is the thing in the outdoor dining bill, but then there's a separate bill, which is the $25 a square foot in Manhattan versus $5 in other parts of the city. That's paid yearly as a fee, plus other fees including a TED. And then finally, I think, the grocery store point, I'm a little bit more on the fence about that one than opposed, because for example, on 9th Avenue, you have Amish Market. They have food that they sell inside, they have tables outside, and the people sit outside on the sidewalk, right? That doesn't offend me so long as that there's a clear path, and if the bar next to them is allowed to have tables outside, like, why can't they? As long as they're following the rules, right? And so I would encourage us to be more flexible on that too.
I think the concern with that issue is the enforcement if they don't have waiters and people are just going out there. And I think I agree with you on that, but in terms of worrying about community concern with people that haven't had to deal with outdoor structure kind of business yet, that's why I would be in favor of your proposal, but that's why I would probably say not this time around, because I think people are very sensitive to how that would look.
The other issue is with bars and restaurants, 90% of them have liquor licenses, so we do have the SLA as like a backup to enforcement if things get out of control. But there wouldn't be that but I agree, I wish there was some way of distinguishing from, the Amish Market and the place, Mike mentioned from Food Emporium, and I'm not sure we're gonna get that sort of level of granularity this time around.
So, one thing that has been striking me is that
Sorry, just gonna carry his hand up to me.
Oh, sorry.
Let new people speak.
Didn't see.
Thanks. Sorry, Christine. I'm happy to let you
Yeah.
go first if you want.
no,
I just
go
wanted to say thanks to everybody because this is a really productive conversation, I think. And what I'm hearing is that, there are a number of issues that I think we're solving for or trying to solve for. Of course, it's not going to be, perfect until we know. But like the idea of this being a land grab shouldn't be an issue because we're not in favor of approving adjacent buildings, being able to rent out their space or give away their rights to their space. Everyone agrees on systematic enforcement is necessary, and I think the ideas to do that are great, and we should probably talk more about how we can enlist our elected officials to make sure it happens, or what else can we do as a committee and a board. Cleaning for rats, I think, is the great idea, Ted, that you have. I also agree that it's not probably a huge issue in the winter months. I think active service, as somebody who's immunocompromised as well and takes full advantage of outdoor dining, otherwise I don't get to go to a restaurant. We should make that, a stipulation. I think that knowing that the snow removal is the responsibility of the owners, even if that means you're out there with a shovel, that's what all homeowners have to do now. So to clear their own sidewalks, and buildings. So, I actually think the city did a pretty incredible job over these last two storms with the sidewalks. I hear the community, and I wonder what the committee can do about the bad actors, because the 3 places that were mentioned in the letters and at this meeting, Fellini's, Cafeteria, and Lulu's, are like 3 of the worst actors that we have in Chelsea. So, it's like hearing those names come up and us all nodding and being like, oh yeah, we know. What else can we do? And maybe that's worth taking some time at the next meeting or a future meeting to talk about, like, how can we help carry the burden of the enforcement, from the board versus just leaving it on, the block associations to constantly be complaining. And then I think that, we should make BLP rarely gets at the top of the list of our budget requests, but maybe, this is our year where we need to really fight a little harder for better enforcement, money for better enforcement, money for, as Ted said, people to process these applications faster, so there's less of a financial burden on the small businesses. So it does feel like there's a way to approve this with, a whole lot of stipulations and I guess a little bit of hopeful thinking, but I guess that's all I want to say.
Very. Yeah.
Oh, wait.
No, I'll do the.
Okay.
recap.
I would recommend denial. However, these are the stipulations we would like if this were to move forward, just like we do with any other request. Denial. And this, if it's, deny less. So deny, because we deny as the bill's written, that's what they're voting on. We deny that. And if this moves forward, this is what we suggest. Because we've all come up with some good answers.
I do want to say we also often do though approve with conditions, not necessarily BLP, but on other committees. It is sort of a philosophical approach. Taking
This is telling. but
being
this is
Paul
telling.
Devlin for a minute, like it's like we do often.
That's my motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you made a motion, Inga.
Well, wait, I think Christine was gonna talk before we had a motion, right?
Well, yeah, I was going to try to do what Carrie did, which is to recap the things that I think are important to us, which is the good operators supporting the season extension to 12 months only for establishment, free of uncured summons. Otherwise, require the operator to obtain a new approval. The cleanliness standards, that they remove the floor and clean twice a year, require systematic inspection, not just reactive. Reiterate the strong and balanced enforcement, that they include stipulation and there is mandatory service. All of that would be, and then all the other points that we have already discussed to oppose, and all of that would be that we approve, we support a 12 months operation based on, with those conditions. And that would be the capture, I think the capture of what I heard at least. This.
I think that basically sum it. Is there anywhere, do you think that it's a point in the letter that we can say that we would like, maybe them to reduce some of the fees or?
Oh, yeah, I had that too, right. Support streamlining the application and reducing the cost. Yeah, that was part of that second part, and we oppose the food stores. We oppose the extension in front of adjacent properties. We oppose the Broadway Cafe before 10 AM. And that's pretty much.
Just to circle back to the food stores, because we had some support from the committee. Do you see any way of, sort of separating out what we like from what we don't? I mean, I sort of don't.
Well, I mean, I guess what you could say is if they really are gonna have an inspection program, then maybe we'd be more okay with it, but they're not.
Well, wait, but aren't we talking about like farmer's market versus food stores?
Food stores.
Yes, no, I know.
Yeah, we're talking about places like.
Talking about farmer's market.
Oh, that could be the bodega, we don't know.
Bodega, I guess.
Right, so you could have a bodega in every corner with that, and that would be really.
I guess what bothers me a little is Ted's point, which is, restaurants and bars have staff that are used to serving people and are used to cleaning up.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, it's not that I'm not sure, bodega does not. Yeah, so.
So why don't we take that out of that first resolution and we can vote separately on that or not?
I don't feel so, because of the reason.
I think Mike wants to say something, but I don't see a way around it.
Just to further describe what Hudson Market is about, first of all, okay? Ted's concerns really don't apply there. We're not talking about people going out there and being served beer and wine and stuff. That just doesn't happen. It's a big store, and it's primarily for it's a grocery store in a sense, but it's mostly a place where they've got this massive smorgasbord type thing. Right? And people go in there and you can either take it out or they eat there. They eat within the space. There's tables inside. Once they took the outdoor tables away, you know, this indoor place was just overly crowded. You had to take your stuff out because there was no place to sit. So nobody's going in there to drink booze. You know, they're going there to eat. So there must be some place in the agriculture and market set of regulations that distinguishes places like this from your regular grocery store that sells beer and wine, right? There must be. And I would suggest that we do some homework and see how they distinguish it all. And maybe we can fold it into this particular law as well. All right?
Yeah, Mike, I think those are good points. So I think we could table that for how do we learn more to properly make that distinction and keep that out of, this is our intent.
Yeah, please do, because we really do have to look into this more thoroughly, because we're gonna exclude a lot of good people, you know, got a lot of, and the Amish market is another one. You know, that's a great one. I didn't even think of it.
All right, Mike.
Good, I'm happy.
Well, I guess what I mean, I like the idea of conditions. I'm wrestling with deny unless versus approved with conditions. My concern with deny unless is that unless we're dealing with people who always deal with us, whether it's the SLA or land use issues that are used to this deny unless, it's sort of a counterintuitive formulation if you're just reading it afresh.
Well,
so in a sense,
City council.
What?
City council does this all the
They
time.
know what
And they
deny
know what
unless,
deny
and we
unless
can
means.
say deny the bill as written. And it, because we're basically ripping everything out of this bill except 2 or 3 little things, so we're taking 90.
Well, how about if,
out, so
how about if we
can
just
look at
say,
it as written.
we deny is written and we would, you know,
Prefer that they
support,
introduce a
we
new
would support,
this, and this, and a list.
yeah, we would support, we.
The 12 months.
Yeah, I was gonna say deny is written. We
Deny is
particularly
written.
want denying the extension, et
Oh,
cetera.
that's.
And then we would support year-round roadway dining if these following essential conditions are part of it. And it's all the
That's
ones
good.
that Carrie and Christine and Ted outlined.
That makes sense.
And generally, we think you should streamline the program and the.
Yeah, all the list, and yeah, we can watch the
That applies to
video,
everything,
yeah.
not just.
Right there.
They basically
That's
have to
good.
come back with a whole new bill.
Yeah.
Okay, motion.
And
You wanna make-
Sorry, one more thing, we're against the clear path one as well.
Yes,
I mean,
we have already done, this one was already sent. We are going to refer to it, you know, say in addition to what we have done last time. Here we are, right? Okay.
yeah,
Make a
you know,
motion.
we have to make
Have a
sure we
motion.
get all of those points in though, like Ted said. You know, operators have to be good operators before they can even apply for this, because you are an exceptional operator.
Yeah, you're not the
I
norm.
mean, seriously, you care so much, you're on the
All right.
community board, so that's my motion.
Well, I don't know whose motion it is at that point.
It's everybody's motion.
It was,
Yeah.
I made a motion, then we have to vote on
Okay,
my
I said
motion.
no, it's not.
So your motion was deny unless, we voting on
My
that?
motion was deny,
As
and you guys said unless, and I said deny, however, if you redo this, these are the things we might accept, so it's the same thing, it's my motion. So
Well,
if
no, I
somebody else wants
I
it,
was suggesting.
it was seconded here.
Okay.
It is a motion on the floor, deny
I just
the
don't,
bill as written, and then these are what, if you move forward with a new bill or alterations, these are the things we want. As a community and as a
Oh,
community
okay,
board.
but that's a discussion on the motion. The motion I would prefer was what I outlined. We believe that bills should be denied as written. We
That's
particularly
what I
don't like these other things. However, we would be in favor of year-round dining with all of these conditions.
Yeah.
I'm not making that motion, I can't, but I just want to know that's an alternate motion.
That's
right?
exactly what I said.
So I think that the.
Oh, it is the motion, you said. Oh,
I think
okay.
the only difference is that it is just a little bit of language,
Yeah.
so for
Yeah.
you guys, it's like deny is written, is basically.
We
the
deny
friendly
it
amendment
as
to that
written.
motion.
If you wanna
Okay.
say.
Yeah, but she also did add on, they can come back with a new law, and I think we're trying to Less than.
But not, it's not a new one. It's-
The language. It's, you know, they could call it the same number or add an A or B on it, but basically we're ripping out 90% of it and
Yeah,
changing
and
it.
adding a lot.
And replacing it, so
Yeah.
it's a.
Well, we'll
basically-
finance whether we're saying a new law or something, we'll figure out some way of writing that.
Well, they can add, they can change it.
Modify.
We can say we can approve
Yeah.
that portion of the bill,
right?
No, we
Yes.
just, they can, you know, it would be then 1, 2, 3, 4 A or 1, 2, 3, 4 AA. That's how they do the bills.
No, but what I'm saying is that we could say,
No, we don't approve any of it. We deny
No.
as written.
yes,
If, however, this is moved forward, these are the conditions we want included.
but we approve certain things provided, right?
We deny it as written.
No,
That's the-
Okay, so
at
that's-
a point of time, we have
so
to
we're not
say
saying
we
the
approve,
same.
we approve the 12 month
Oh.
if all of that goes together.
Yeah,
That's the piece which is missing in
But
your
that's
statement.
one, yeah, that's
That's what I would
that's
do.
fine.
you're
That's
okay
fine.
with that?
You are fine with that?
Yeah,
Okay,
but
all right,
we have
so-
to, you know, we have to put in all of these things, like
Yeah.
Chad said, and we don't want
No, that we know.
butchers and
Right.
bakers
Yeah,
and
okay.
candy stick.
But we
Alright.
can say we would approve the 12
And
months.
marijuana
if-
shops.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Frank, would
Yes.
you mind just would you mind clearly stating what the motion is?
And before we do so, Diana, we do see your hand, but the public session is ended, so this is just committee
You can let
business
us
now.
I don't care. It's up to you.
All right, so everybody listen to this, because I think, okay, we're gonna say we are not in favor of the bill as written. In particular, we object outright to the extension of, into neighboring properties and the corner clearance thing. And we're gonna leave out the grocery store piece for now, table that, come back to that. We would be in support of 20 year-round roadway dining if the following essential conditions are also included as part of the bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not just grocery stores, it's every cupcake maker, every butcher.
No,
We're
we
gonna
know
go
that.
table
We know
that
that.
whole-
We have done.
Not taking
I think we
position.
should deny that, I mean, that's what the community's saying, they don't want it.
Well, we just talked about that and,
It's.
you know,
That's in denying the bill. Isn't that in the bill, always?
Yeah.
Yes.
well,
That's being.
okay, is everything else okay? And then we'll go back to the retail.
As long as we have every stipulation that we
okay.
discussed
All right.
tonight, so.
So the retail thing is actually supported in,
So let's make a vote on that.
okay, all right, so we'll, for the moment, we'll leave retail out of this thing and let's vote on the rest of it. On what I just outlined. Then we'll come back, we'll take a separate vote on whether we include retail one way or the other.
And this goes to full board, right? Sorry, just
Yes,
to,
all right.
okay, thank you.
No, we'll come back to the retail in
Tonight.
5
Tonight,
minutes.
Yeah.
okay, yeah, cause we have to address it.
Okay, so,
We have a motion.
so you're making the motion, I just,
Tina seconded,
okay, as I summarized everything, okay.
deny as written.
Okay, yeah, okay,
Okay. We have a
These are the
motion,
stipulations
we had a
want.
second.
But approve if, right?
that's what I said,
Yeah.
okay.
Wow,
All those in favor?
Okay.
unclear.
Okay, all
I'm
those
sorry.
against? Right? I don't think we have
So
any.
just out of curiosity, is that the sort of land grab thing?
No, I think that there's a lot of abandoned, and they're great operators. But I think that there's a lot of abandoned and eyesore sheds that are left up. And I think unfortunately, forcing them to take it down every few months, you know, weeds out the unsuccessful and bad operators. And you're losing that opportunity. And I'm sorry if that's at the expense of the good operators, but that they're just gonna be out there.
Yeah,
Are there any particular ones that are up that you know of right now?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta
We're
move
just
on to the other
voting.
parts,
Let's
no, I understand that, and it
Can we
does.
just put in the enforcement thing that the city will do more to address abandoned
Yeah.
sheds or whatever?
Yeah, let's.
There's no
Sorry,
reading.
can someone just tell me how the vote, what happened with the vote?
It was,
Yeah, stipulation.
wait, sorry, I believe it was just one vote against everyone else.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so just quickly to circle back on the extending to retail stores. It did have some support from committee members, limited to places like the Amish Market. I thought what we decided was we were not gonna take a position on it because we were gonna look into it more.
And we
see
don't
if-
have time.
See if there's something in the agricultural law to separate the two.
There's a different, in the legislation, there's retail food store or food warehouse.
Yeah.
There's two terms of
So
it.
a cupcake shop, literally a candy shop, everybody that has food that they're selling, every deli, every bodega owner, every cannabis / deli owner.
Yeah, I don't see how we're gonna.
I mean, and the
We
thing
have
which-
to say.
Wait,
the thing which is the worst here is that all of those can open a sidewalk cafe,
Yeah.
but not a roadway cafe. Which is really weird. Which is now more conflict on the sidewalks.
It's bad.
And I think that's something we're.
I guess,
I don't-
I think we're not gonna get through this in time for this bill, so I would. I
I make a
personally,
motion to oppose.
okay,
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Opposing, right? Right.
All those-
Mike is in favor.
No, Mike is opposed. Look, I would throw it back to them and say, look here, you've got to straighten this out and make it,
Right.
No, we
you
have
know,
to
just
oppose
make
that
it
for now.
applicable in places where it should happen,
Okay.
you know?
yeah,
We can come back.
okay,
Okay.
think we're done.
But
Done
well,
it.
just as a matter of procedure, Mike, you voted yes for the letter. But against not including the provision, but are you still in favor of the letter?
Yes, yes,
So
indeed.
we'll
Yeah.
let
So we can still do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the rest.
Christine, you gonna take a crack at
I
it?
took
if
a
you
crack
will.
at it.
Okay,
Right.
all right,
Will you circulate
Anything else?
Ted and I, so we can look at the
Oh, yeah.
stipulations before, I know you can't do it with the whole committee, that's
But
a meeting outside a meeting, but.
sure, we want to get it right, right?
Definitely. This was very productive over a very challenging
yeah,
issue,
thanks,
so.
thanks
great job.
everybody
Thank you.
for coming out. Thanks, Joe, for I think this is our last meeting.
Yeah, our last meeting in this space.
Yeah. The last time we gotta put all this stuff away. Okay, return, we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.